Well, today we're going to paint the inside of the frame on the Toothless build. At least this is the part of this project today. I'm just going to do it outside. It's not, you know, it won't hurt anything in that kind of finish. So we're going to get rid of all the red, hopefully. And we'll get suited up here and got gunned up and we'll get to it. Okay, we got Toothless back inside here. Painting's all done inside the rails. Low gloss black, medium, semi-low. Turned out pretty decent. Looks a whole lot better than it did. I would have liked to have done more, but this is the best job you can do without a complete strip out. And you see very little of it once it's assembled. You know, we do complete strip out stuff, but that's how you end up in the $200,000 bracket, you know, instead of the $100,000 bracket. So wiring interface, that stuff will be next. We're going to be starting on the interface harness portion of this deal while we're waiting for engine parts. So this is it. The 70 pin, you know, Atom, Cat. The standalone harnesses are great. The custom harnesses, I have a hard time with that kind of expense when we can wire in-house. So we do it a few different ways. A lot of times we'll use the factory electronic engine interface harness. I've got it around here somewhere, but in this case we're not going to, because it was chewed up pretty bad. So I went and got this harness. This is a new open box or overstock item. It's for some sort of a coach bus of some sort. So it's plenty long enough. We'll probably pull the 1939 out of it altogether because we won't be using that, and stub it out, and probably gonna hardwire it in. That actually works pretty well on a 359. So we're gonna get going. We'll ID out all the wires first, tag everything, and then move into, you know, clipping and terminating out all of our endings. So here we are at the end of stage one of our engine interface harness. We ID out all the connectors and every wire. Coolant fan solenoid, this coolant level, and every wire we're going to need. We get a length figured and brought that the looming back. So this will be what's outside the truck, what you actually see down to the engine. All of our ins and outs puts, we get separated out, labeled, ready to go. Each one we've done a little differently. This one we'll hardwire the rest of the way in with all those inputs and outputs because they're so long. The next one I might just build, or well, somebody here, not necessarily me. We might just build it from scratch because we're getting pretty good at it and our lengths are kind of figured out. You know, then maybe we'll start producing them. I'm not sure. You know, standalones, I have a use for them. It's a small market. It's not real mass, but the big thing is you're bringing an emission standard forward by putting an electronic engine into a truck that was originally mechanical. So you're actually upgrading the EPA platform so you can legally produce it. Okay, as you can see, we got our engine back and on the stand. Our good friend Zach up at JFTCO, the local cat house, took care of this thing for us. Fixed up the lowers. And then I had him surface it. We did measure it before we started. It was at new spec. That way we don't get into counterboring shims. We get rid of the water ferrule erosion. And a lot of people don't really understand, at least in my opinion, the art of a good deck. It's doused in rust inhibitor here because it comes back and we run it for half an hour in the washer and coat it heavily in rust inhibitor before we build out final assembly. But you don't want a glass smooth finish, despite what a lot might think. A little bit of and there's a number for it, what the ideal finish is. A little bit of a mill mark there, you can see it, is good because the gasket will bite into that and that'll actually help keep it sealed up and prevent leaks. It's almost rare that you get to build off of a block this nice anymore. With an in-frame, you're kind of stuck. You counterbore it and you shim it, and despite what the internet might tell you, because that's a buzzword, you know, counterbore. It is a good practice. Is it an acceptable practice? It works. It is not better than this practice, in my opinion. And I'll do rounds on that. This, moving forward, a block is so very, very important. That's something I wanted to touch on here, because if you picture, it's the best analogy I can come up with is Legos. If you have a Lego you stepped on and the cat chewed on it, maybe it's melted, corners broke off, and you start to build your Batman fighter or whatever off of it, and it's not going to go very well. It's going to be crooked, it's not going to stay together, it's going to fall apart on you. And that is an engine block that's not true and straight and flat. Square to the world, etc. So, now that we know the rest of what we need here, we're going to get going on building this thing out. These marks here, we run a 3/4 bottoming tap down through the holes after we get it back so that there's no obstruction and you get a fair and even torque value. Looking forward to it. Well, that's it. I hope you guys have enjoyed installment 2 of the Toothless build. I sure do like this truck. Really happy we got a hold of it. I think it's going to be a sweetheart with a 2WS 3406E, an 18 torque, 18 speed, and it's already, you know, like we mentioned in the earlier videos, low air cutoff and big hold. So thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.